Hi, welcome to my guitar tutorial talking about blues in G and some half-step licks, slides, and bends. This is something I came up with pretty recently. It's not the newest lick in the world, but it's just something that I thought was interesting. So right off the bat, so what I'm doing here is I'm for the most part I'm trying to hold this bass note of the G with my thumb while I'm doing this bend. So D, E, F. So I'm bending up to the flatted seventh of the G, and then for the C chord, bending up to the flat seventh of the B flat, and then a flatted seventh here. All right, so that's kind of the first part of the lick. Then the next part. So this is just basically just like a G7 arpeggio. B, G. So instead of hitting the B right on, I'm just doing that flatted third bend. Right, and then whatever you want to play after that, it doesn't really matter. You have to kind of just make up something that sounds good to you. A lot of different things would work there. So then for the C chord, so same thing. So C, E, G, B flat, C, E. So that's just a C7th arpeggio, but I'm just bending up from the third to the flat third, the flat third to third, and then just kind of making up some kind of little lick around there. And then for the 5 chord, so you have A, C, D, F sharp. So I'm just bending up to that F sharp. Okay, so that's the basic idea of the first lick. So I'll go ahead and play with that a little bit more with this. This is a kind of a funky track that I use a lot, Drumgenius, Funky 12. Here it comes. So here it comes again. 1, 2, 3, 4, G. Okay, then you'll notice the other thing I was doing, I was just doing some chromatic up to the G with my thumb. Okay, then the other lick I was doing here, I'm coming up to kind of a root, kind of a 9 chord here, root on the 5th string, and then I'm just kind of playing out of this. You can think of this as kind of the Dorian pattern, kind of playing off of there, or you can think of it as the minor pentatonic based off the 5th. All right, so I'm just using that lick, either bending or that's like the lick that John Lennon uses in She's So Heavy, I Want You. But instead of using it over a D minor chord, I'm using it over a G7 chord. Either bending or sliding there. Okay. Then this lick here, this is kind of coming out of sort of a B minor 7 flat 5. I see it. So there's your 3rd of the chord based off of the 3rd. So there's the first part, and then okay, and then I'm doing that half step slide. Yeah. So it's really it's kind of almost like a duplication of what I'm doing here. I'm just doing it in 2 different places. And then okay, then on the C7 chord it gets a little cramped here because you're kind of running out of room here. So you have that's coming out of you can think of it as G Dorian, which is the 2 of the 5 there, or you can think of it as coming out of G minor pentatonic. Okay, and then this here is kind of coming out of sort of the E minor 7 flat 5. And then you can do the slide there, a flat 3rd. Okay, and then for the D7 chord, that's coming out of same idea. So kind of coming out of A Dorian pattern, or coming out of A minor pentatonic based off the 5th. Okay, and then the lower parts coming out of F sharp minor 7 flat 5, kind of arpeggio or modal pentatonic. And then there's your flat 3 slide. Okay, so I'll play along with this track again, this funky 12. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I also had an idea a ways back to do all blues, Miles Davis. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this lick and I'm just going to apply it to all blues. I'm just going to do a very, very loose interpretation of all blues. I'm going to use Drumgenius, a 3/4 pattern. Okay, so this is about metronome about 110. So just think of the same lick. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to apply it to this 3/4 pattern. So I'll start off just playing just a loose kind of rhythm of all blues, kind of the bass part, and then what I'll do for the 5 chord, I'll use that chord. So F sharp, and then it's like an F major chord over F sharp. Then I'm just gonna move that up a half step, and then I'm just gonna use the same chord here. I'm gonna add the B flat bass note, and then for the turnaround, I'm just gonna use these third intervals, F A, G B, F A, G B over a G bass. Okay, so I'll do that one time, kind of the basic rhythm, and then I'll just show you a reinterpretation of that first lick that I showed you, applied in a 3/4 setting. One, two, three. Okay, so what I did at the very end there, I did something kind of tricky. So for the 5, I just used the same lick, but then when I went up to the E flat chord, I'm kind of thinking of that as kind of G blues scale. And then I just did a melodic thing to get me back to the 1 chord. And I just came down with the third intervals. Okay, so then let's do one more thing. So now I'm going to apply that same. I'm going to apply that to this a 3/4 pattern and see what happens. So notice I am using my thumb a lot on these basses. Not just something that I've been kind of practicing lately. Just incorporating that thumb. One of the things I thought was kind of interesting. If you reach over, you can get the root in flat 7. So I've been kind of playing around with that a little bit. Okay, so root 5, that lick applied to this 3/4 pattern. A 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's all I have for you today. Just that little half-step bend lick there. I just discovered last evening when I was practicing, and then this John Lennon lick. But instead of applying it to minor, applying it to a dominant 7th chord, and then this little thing in here based around the third of the chord. Okay, so I think what I'll do to end. I'll go back to that first when the backseat Betty, funky 12 about 70, and I'll just do an improvisation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of push my technique a little bit, do some kind of faster kind of runs, hammer-ons, pull-offs. So those of you who follow my channel know I've been kind of working on building up my strength with the 7 string with 11s on, 11 to 70. So what I did with this guitar, I put on some 9 to 42 New York XL, so it's a much easier guitar to play, so I can do some more hammer pull-offs and interesting things like that. So I'm going to see what happens here with this blues funky 12. Okay, thanks for listening and watching. Thank you.